Hi guys, Mark from France. Today I have made my Hobao Hyper MT Sport Plus 1.5. This is not the one, this is not the 2. Why did I did this? Because I always want a monster truck and 1/8 scale with the suspension travel from the Summit. The Summit is not a real monster truck, is too weak on the transmission. You get the E-Revo 2, not really looks like a monster truck, is a real monster truck with a higher ground clearance, with a super transmission, suspension travel. You can only change the body, then you have something in this style. I always loved my Savage Flux because of the suspension. Long shocks, long shock travel, smooth shock travel. I love more than my Savage the Sen GSTE or Colossus. He had not so more suspension travel. He has issue with losing the dog bones because they traveled out. You get the Losi XXL or 3XL, who has several problems with CVD hitting the differential, destroying the differential. Serpent MTE is cool. There's still not so much suspension travel, is too hard, and is a truggy who was traveled as a monster truck, but he do the job. I'm really happy with my Serpent MTE. It's an awesome truck, but I don't like the fact that on Losi and Serpent they use the truggy differential and the little 4mm bearings, and not the fat bearings like Sen does or HPI does. Even HPI does the failure to use 4mm bearings at the diff outputs. Hobao Hobao MT Sport has issue with CVD with the rims, so they made the Sport Plus with new harder rims over CVDs. No center diff, no slipper was an issue, so they put a slipper in, but there was still some issue. On the MT Sport Plus 2 they use a center diff. I asked them to sell us a center diff with the right length dog bone to change your MT Sport with 3 differential setup. They done it even not a month after I asked it. That's awesome. So we have here not a 1 with a center diff conversion, we have a 1.5 because I use the Hobao MT Sport Plus 2 front and rear axle, a Hobao MT Sport 1 chassis, and the center diff conversion. If you want to do this, it's really costful in the end. But I have the Hobao MT2, I had a short chassis, and I become from Hobao. I pay it, I not become it for gift. I pay my center diff conversion and get it really fast because I ask about. I put on the top the Armor Nero unbreakable body because it looks awesome. We have the right body on the right size from a truck because of the wider spur that you have on the MT Sport Plus 2. You have here the one. The one has shorter arms, has shorter shocks. On the 2 you have longer shock towers, longer shocks and longer A-arms. You have more suspension travel than that one. I will change that one also with a 3 differential. I will put the old MT body on the top, which I really like, the orange and black, and Proline bedlands. So I will get here a monster truggy, a real basher, fat, heavy truggy to rip the field. And here I have a real fat 1/8 scale monster truck with awesome suspension travel. Underneath, Hobao made several changes on the MT. They upgrade the CVD, they upgrade the road ends, they upgrade you become now out from the box a wheelie bar and the sleeper in the new version, also fatter road ends, and they do also something more. At the beginning by Hobao you get only this chassis with a problem here at this point because you break or this or this or that. So they make a little reinforcement piece here to stop here the movement of this part That's okay when you hit in the back. You have a physical stop here, but when you hit in the front, especially on the new Sport Plus 2, because it's way heavier, 7.5 to 8 kilograms, you destroy the rod ends. So they make beefier rod ends, but after that you destroy that one. So they make new plastic for that one, and I become, you see it in the unboxing video from these parts, a little L shape here, plastic formed. You can also do it yourself, it's not an issue, but I think they will do it on the new version out from the box. You become all this. Also on the short version you will come the wheelie bar and the slipper, and maybe on the all new version I hope that they will do it that you become the center diff serial on the short version from the truck. So back to this one. So they stop here physically also the movement this way, so you cannot more break out the rear. It's clear you can even destroy it, but for destroy it you have to go really heavy. The first version has only pins with secure screw, then they put screws in. And all this comes in about 2 or 3 or 5, no, the first version comes out for 4 or 5 years. They took a year to make upgrades, a second year to make a center diff and wheelie bar serial. And since they make the Hobao MT Sport Plus 2, every time I mail them to say I have issue with this or that, in a month you get some new parts to upgrade the truck. We get new ball ends, we get this locker and the conversion set to 3 differential for the short in less than 2 months since the truck comes out. And that's something really super for us, because no brand until now is so fast and Hobao for reacting on what customers want. Armor was always there for customers, but it need a little bit more time, and Hobao here make a really awesome job for make this truck go better and better. Underneath, because I have the beefier axle front and rear from the MT Sport 2 and I have less weight, I have here 8S. Yes, I have 8S in this new battery box. Remember, I tell you in the first test that this battery box flies away from the truck when you hit. So they tell you can put it on the overside, upside down, and the outside to protect here the lipo to get some gravel, but they still can fly us out. It happens not so much, but when you land on the roof on the back, your battery case flies away. So I screw the battery case on the truck. What happened then? They break out. I was driving at that time one in the normal, one upper side, one downside, I make big jumps, and I lose my 2 battery trays by destruction. So they make new battery box who hold really better in place. And I drive here 8S, but not for drive 150 kilometers an hour. I use a 1400 kV motor in 8S. That means I have the same and RPM that the 6S 2000 kV. 22.2 volt with a 2000 kV motor gives 44,000 RPM. 33 volts with 1400 kV gives about 32,000 RPM. I only use a 14-tooth pinion here, so the end speed is maybe 75 to maximum 80 kilometers an hour. It's not so much, but it's really enough for a big off-road car. And this way I have a really controllable truck. I can do what I want with my trigger. The trucks make it immediately. On gas, off gas, and a half throttle, and can do what I want. I can go full throttle, let the front on the road, and I can make pop really like I want. I can make 2, 3, 4 back flips or front flips however I want. And I have, because this truck is steel, 7 kilograms because of the beefier front and rear. I have a beefier ESC, but it's only 100 gram more ESC. I have only 200 or 300 gram more on the batteries, not so much. So I'm not really heavier than the 6S version, but I have more control, and I have a really cool battery when I have finished to drive. and a super runtime even with 5000 milliamps battery, and I don't need to have 100C battery. I can use here 20-30C discharge battery, so I can here use cheap battery. And when you fly to the air and send the truck to the moon, you are really happy to have cheap battery in there in case of destroying something. I use Proline Blockade because I'm in love with this rubber. I love ballooning monster truck tires. I love the way they sucks up the terrain and hold the truck in place. Even if you turn, the tire can really displace himself from his rim, and really helps the truck to be in place. This truck is easy to drive. Even if it's a monster truck, I have a real good ground clearance. I have a soft suspension. I have a long travel, so I am soft and I can hit big jumps still. Because if you use a truggy or something to make a muggy, you have to make really stiff shocks to not bumps out and destroy the chassis to the ground. If you have long shocks, you can have soft shocks, because you really break the shutdown, the fall down from the truck on a long way, and so you not bottoms so fast out and rebound. I hope I have explained this correctly in English. To put all this on the short chassis, you not can just screw all together. You put front and rear axle is okay, center diff conversion is okay. And if you ask me, before I forget, you have a front CVD 150 mm and a rear CVD 120 mm X to X, not over all lengths, but X to X for those from you who can make it yourself. Then, because of the longer shock tower, you have stiffener on the shock tower, so you don't can put the box there where it belongs on this truck. You have to put the box a little bit more in the back. So you need the long here rod for the servo, because on the short version the servo is mounted here and you have only a short here rods, and here you have a long one. So when you have done this, you can put holes in your chassis to fix the other box. I love this box because you can really put heavy and fat battery in there. Motor is in the same place as the normal one. In the moment, this is not finished yet. I just put for test my 8S ESC this wise, so I have no issue with the body who hits the fan. I have no gravel from the front who hits my ESC here in the back. I will make a lower ESC hold to put my ESC in the right place. Because of the longer shock towers, you not need to put the body post also high, so they also not break so fast. You have to know that you can use the Savage Flux shock towers in there, not shock towers but body post. These body posts are a little bit too weak, but if you make the body and the center wall bar the way that this one is under the hood, you will have no issue with that. The biggest issue on the MT Sport Plus 2 is the steering. The car turns like an oversized mammoth truck. I was able on this one to do something, and maybe you can do it also on the long version. First, because you have a center diff, the car is more agile. I put 300 CST oil in the center. You can go to 500, it's not a problem, or to 2 million or what you want, but I try to go to 300,000 for tests. I have put in the front 50,000 CST oil, and in the back, usually I make the front harder than the back, I put 150 CST. So when you turn the rear end from the truck, push more the rear from the truck, so you drift more. Because of the easier front differential oil, you get more turn radius. And I put also softer shocks in the front and in the rear. I also usually in off-road make harder front than rear, because I have more weight in the front. When you drive you compress the rear and you depress the front, so you are still soft front and rear. But when you brake or hit the jumps, mainly because you most of the time have more weight in the front, and you try to get this way down from the jumps, you squeeze more the front, hit hard. So it's comfortable for me. I prefer to drive so, but on this truck you cannot do this, because to increase steering power, the steeringness from the truck with harder rear and softer front, you get that one. When you get down from the case, the trucks go down in the front, then you turn and you can lift one rear tire, so the truck turns really tight. I make this also on rally cars. When the ground is sleepy, it will be too much, but on hard surface like grass or asphalt, it's an issue. Also, in the most of the case in off-road, we drive with, in the front, the two tires open. When you make this and this one, because of the tiny turning radius, you have one tire go full to the left and the other one looks this way straight, so you really had issue to turn. So I go for make a little bit I don't know how to say in English. I put my front tires this way, so when I turn, my two tires are parallel. It's not too bad for the handling, it's not disturbing, because with the suspension travel you get a little bit more open when you brake here, you see it, so it's not an issue. I will test it, you will see, like every time here on the channel, the whole run, all breakdowns and the whole run time, with the real speed from the truck and not so strange stuffs. You will see a durability montage who goes only 5 minutes with no crash. You see all because I'm a channel who show the truth, and hope that I also can speak clearly with you to explain the issue and what I love, what I not love. It's clear here. That's a truck I made myself for myself. So I have the 1/8 scale I want. I have the brightness I want. I have the tires I want. I have the body I want. And the drive style I want. And hope that this will be my ultimate 1/8 scale monster truck. Because I'm happy with the Serpent, but I'm not happy with the tiny bearing and the tiny differential. And that is a flat chassis, but he handles so good that you can forget this is a flat chassis. I love the tweaks, it's handled awesome. It's soft on the suspension, he has a super traction with his LSD differential, but I really hate the fact that the suspension travel was cut out to not destroy the differential. Also the differential are too weak and really destroy too fast. The GST or St. Colossus is no more. You only get the Reaper long version, but I'm not happy with the Reaper. He's not bright enough. It's not able to put the power to the ground. Same issue with the MT2. You know I love Hobao, I love all brands. But I'm really not happy with the turning ratio from the MT2, and he don't bring the power to the ground, and the shocks are too weak for the heavy style from the car. Savage Flux is dead a long time ago. It's still an awesome truck, but we need some improvement in the Savage Flux. HPI was come now back to life, but the only thing who's new by HPI is the higher price here in Europe. At the beginning they made you the HPI Savage Bullet Flux, a really bad truck. This is one of the baddest truck I ever had with the Traxxas Emax and some other stuff from low-cost brand. Costs in the beginning 320 euros here in Europe. They changed the motor and ESC, so the price go up to 360, then they fall down. They come back with a price for 420 euros with the same old truck, just another body. The body was not more red, orange and black on the MT, not on the Stadium version. They was black and orange. and now they fall down again and they come up again, and the truck costs now 480 euro in Europe. For 480 euro you get the Hyper Anti Sport Plus 6S version. You become the Serpent MTE, and for a little bit more the Serpent MTE, and for 600 euro you get the Losi 3XL. So who's gonna buy still a HPI Bullet Flux for the same price as a 1/8 scale monster truck, because you just get a 1/10 tiny and fragile truck. So I really don't understand what happens by HPI, but I hope that they will wake up and make a new such. And I hope also that Team Esso will comes out with a new monster truck, not based on the RCIT, but a real monster truck with a real monster truck gear ratio, with a real undergear in, with 3 differential, and with awesome suspension travel. Because that's what we like. These tires are a little bit too bright because you have offset there, but I have here still my lovely Big Joes, and I'm gonna put that one on Proline Split 6 with no offset to give this truck another look. And I will make from the other chassis a real killer basher truggy. Stay tuned, because this is not the end of the year, and this is not the last thing you will see new here, because I'm on the way to get the Corrali Kronos. I hope to get it soon, and to show you a video from this. I show a picture from it. I discuss on the telephone with some guys from the development team, and I can tell you the Corrali Kronos, if it's really so tough like it feels, will be an awesome monster truggy, a muggy, like we say here in Europe, a truggy with big tires like the Armor Kraton. The price is will also be okay, and we all wait, it's clear, for the new Armor 1/7 scale. I don't know if I gonna get this. It's so big like the X-Max, it's so bright, but way brighter. And I don't like the Kraton body. It's not an issue, can change the body, but it's something I had to test anyway. So did I get one, did I not get one? You know me, in the end I buy all I see. Bye guys.